In life, we encounter people every day, all of whom have stories to share. We rarely take the time to ask people their personal stories, many of which will touch, move, and inspire us in some way. Matt has a passion for making authentic connections and learning about people from all walks of life. He has lived a life of giving back to the community and making a difference in people's lives. Are you ready to meet fascinating people and hear some inspiring stories? The Matt Hilton Show will introduce you to a world of possibilities you never knew existed. Sit back, be present, and enjoy. Here's your host, Matt Hilton.
Hey everyone, Matt Hilton here, the host of the Matt Hilton Show. Thank you for tuning in today for part 2 of our interview with Forrest Patterson. You don't want to miss the rest of his fascinating story. Now stay tuned for a word from our sponsor.
Inspired, experienced, customer-focused. Find a mortgage that fits your needs with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage, specializing in construction and closing all types of loans, including jumbo, portfolio, conventional, FHA, and VA. A tenured team, outstanding service, competitive programs. Finance your dreams with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage. mleach.firstunitedteam.com, 214-316-7915. mleach@firstunitedbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
What would you go back and tell your 22-year-old self?
I would say the more you know, the less you know. I feel like I've learned so much, but the more I learn, I feel like I don't know anything. You know, because there's so much to learn out there. You know, with your job or my relationship with my kids, my wife. I mean, there's so much to learn. But the more I learn, I'm like, I still don't know anything. Like I still have to keep learning. You know, that's what I've. When you come out of college, you feel pretty confident. You're like, whatever happens, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just do it,
Right.
whatever. But
I just graduated.
yeah.
Have all this book knowledge.
It's right. It's book knowledge that I don't know what to do with, just like your test that you did. But I think that's just like, God, the more I learn, I feel like the less I know. But I feel like I got to keep doing this because you have to, you have to grow, So I think.
And if you're not learning based, you're dying.
You're
right?
dying.
I mean, if you're not growing, you're dying. So yeah,
dying on the vine for sure.
There's no status quo.
No, yeah. I think my trainer like just be 1% better than yesterday.
Oh, yep.
It's cheesy, but it's true. It's like just try to get better at your craft and whatever you're doing. But yeah, if you focus on what you need to learn, you don't. It'll drive you crazy. So, but I think just being a little bit better every day and just having that mentality, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to learn until basically I die. So,
and I think that's a powerful statement because knowing that you don't know everything keeps you in that learning-based mode, right? Yeah. If you think you know everything, you're going to stop trying to learn something, and that's when not so good things happen.
And I'm sure you've met people that they think they know everything.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
They even know stuff about my job.
Oh, absolutely.
And what I do, and they're a doctor or they're an engineer, and it cracks me up. I'm sure people tell you how to do your job all the time too.
Absolutely. And I can tell them they can have it, and let's see how they do.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's why they're coming to you for advice. Yeah. So is there a fear that you have? I mean, you've been through a lot in life, right? I mean, and I think a lot of people have been through a lot in life. I'm not just saying you're like this one person who's been through a lot. Like
I've met people that have it worse than me, for sure.
Exactly. Things could be worse. But with that being said, it's is there anything that you fear in life?
Yeah, I fear. I think the fear of vulnerability is always there for me. Okay. It's like constant. And but in that book, the New Earth book that I read, one thing that I really took from it is that when you're with your thoughts, I think recognizing that it's just a thought, it's not me, it's just there, and acknowledging it is the most important thing. Not, if you don't acknowledge it, that's where you get in trouble. But yeah, if you acknowledge something, oh, that's just a thought. It's not me. It's just a thought, and realizing, just kind of separating your thoughts from yourself is was key for me. Like, oh, that makes sense. It's like, because you have, your brain is trained to just go, right? And if you can kind of separate, like, well, that's just my mind talking, it's not really me. That was really helpful for me. And just realizing these thoughts they're there. I recognize them. They're not me. They're separate. They're going to happen. But that's that. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of just tapping into that. just kind of separating yourself from your thoughts, because as humans, it's like it's constant, right?
Yeah, we're always self-talk is what you've got to really have a handle on, right? Or it can affect you.
I think the author of the book, he I think the way he thought about it, he went to the bathroom and there was a guy that was talking aloud. Like, you look at someone on the street, maybe a homeless person, they just talk loud. Mm-hmm. He's like, the only difference between me and him is that he was verbalizing, but the same things were going through my head. I just wasn't saying it. So he's not really much different from me. He's just verbalizing it, know? And he's like, that's where I kind of like, figured out, like, everybody has the thoughts. It's how you're perceived and they're there. But that's one thing that he noticed, like, I'm no different from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that kind of struck me. Like when you see somebody, like, they're just verbalizing what they're thinking,
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because at the end of the day, we're all human, right? We all have some sort of a connection, right? With each other.
Yeah.
And that's one reason I do this show, is to hear people's stories and get to know them better, like I have you today, and to learn that you're an introvert, yet you decided to come on the show as a guest, and be vulnerable.
Well, I used to be on stage, so it's a little the same, but yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So is there one person in your life that you feel like is an influential person because you mentioned something like a couple of times when you were saying like everybody handles things differently, and you were like, maybe it was the way I was raised, or what? So was there somebody in your life that helped become the man you are today?
Yeah, I think I'd be a completely different person if it wasn't for my stepdad. My parents got divorced when I was in 4th grade, and to see the relationship there that they had to when he came in my life, then I think that helped my marriage now, is because of him. I think I'd be a completely different person. Except my dad was always, he always made me cringe, so maybe I'd still be the same. But I always think, having a role model is so important, So that's why losing him was so tragic for me, because I was like, I was just starting my family, and I could have used you more. Why'd you have to leave, right?
Yeah.
And then just my wife, like, I would never read that book in Thailand. My wife is very like, let's do it. I'm always very open to it. But she has so many ideas. She's an idea girl, and she's, when we got married, I would not be the same person if it wasn't for her. She's introduced me to so many different things that, they think they seem like crazy ideas, but I always go along with them like, oh, and I'm glad I did,
Sure.
So I think him, and then of course my wife, and our relationship has grown leaps and bounds, and been through a lot. So I remember when we were at a children's hospital when Beck was his last couple of days, and I think it was the pastor, I forgot, a pastor or some religious person there that comes to and talks, and they're like, you're going to find out if you're going to be together. Like, this is where you're going to find out if you're meant to be together or not, because if you can make it through this together, you can make it through anything, right? And and we did, but we were doing patchwork for like 9 years until we did couples therapy, because there are a lot of stuff that happened then that she was in the NICU, and I was trying to still save my business at Little Gym, and I was not there, and she was dealing with him turning blue sometimes and calling me like thinking he was it was crazy, right? I was kind of absent, right? And she felt alone, and knowing that there's we all have scars, and we, like I said, deal with something different ways, and I was kind of shut off I was trying to be a great husband, but also trying to do this, and she probably needed me more than I should have, but I think her just having that, she's always trying to search herself, I think, dig deep. And because I kind of built walls, she's helped me kind of bring the walls down a little bit to where I feel okay being vulnerable in different ways. So anyway, yeah, I think she definitely, the last 20 years, that's kind of boring over. Oh, my wife, I love my wife. She's so,
No.
But it's true, right?
Yeah.
So, but
she sounds like
she's an amazing woman, absolutely. And so, I think I remember when I introduced her to my mom, I was like, you're always really, you want to be with them if you're really proud to introduce them to your mom. I remember doing that, and we were just friends at the time, but it's funny how that happens, and now we've been 20 years down the line. It's just crazy how that happens, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. So how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3 kids?
Besides Beck, yeah.
Right,
so
right.
Beck, Sloane's 4. She's our feral child.
Okay.
And then a 7-year-old boy is Ford, and then Jude is 11. So.
Okay.
Very
Got your
lucky.
hands full with that.
Sure. It's a zoo, but I love it. We got chickens and hamsters.
Chickens and hamsters
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
and Oak Cliff.
And Oak Cliff.
There we go.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
That's fantastic. What is one thing that you love most about yourself? Talk about
Matt.
vulnerability. Here we go.
Yeah, you're making me super. It's like it's okay. I've been through these sessions before. Like about myself?
I said not like. What do you
Love.
love about yourself?
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I love that I'm open to things. Whether, I'm always willing to listen to somebody. For the most part, I'm really open. I think sometimes I don't. What I love about that I'm open, but sometimes I won't reveal my true colors because I want to be open at the same time. I want to hear more, but then I want people to think, So sometimes I'm open, but I'm not myself sometimes. Like if I disagree with somebody, I don't want to always say it. I'll just let them kind of write it out and pretend like I agree with them, but I probably don't. I wish I was more myself, but I do love myself that I'm open to willing to listen. But I don't know. So I guess I don't love that about myself. I don't know. See, it's a hard question, Matt.
It is a hard question, I know. And I didn't give it to you beforehand to contemplate.
I know.
So what is it?
Maybe I'm not open. I think I gotta come up with a different answer. But
Yeah, so you may come up with something else here, but I'm going to ask you something. What do you love most about what you do now?
I love because I get to have people have foresight from my hindsight, basically. And I feel like it's very powerful, and just knowing just what I've been through, that it can happen, and I want to help people, set up things to where if it does, it's gonna stink, but it'll stink a little less if you put things in place.
Sure.
So, and I've just seen it for myself, and sort of in the senior market, I just it's. And of course, all the other stuff is that it's flexible and all. I mean, there's other stuff to the job that you love, but the core of it is that you love helping people and educating them and letting them know what's possible is super important, because a lot of people, I think, my biggest why is like I just know in high school, junior high, college, there was no financial acumen at all taught. Like it should have been before English, in my opinion. Marriages break up over finances. Relationships break up. There's a lot of hurt involved there, and we should have something that's just like a financial planning 101 class. So education's a big thing with me. It's just educating people, because a lot of people don't know what's possible, and it's important for them to know. Everybody should know.
Yeah, for sure. And the longer you wait, the harder it is to get there, right?
Yes.
So, I've got 4 kids, and I know you're probably limited on what you can advise, but is there anything generically that you can speak to the young people who may be listening or watching of what they can, because I've got a 22, a 20, a 18, and a 15-year-old.
I'm really jealous of you being an almost empty nester.
I'm almost empty
really
nester.
jealous.
So what advice would you give them? Because they're not going to listen to Dad, although Dad knows pretty much what needs to be done. But how should they start in saving, or anything that you can share that would help the younger generation?
I would say, just generically, you would, if you can figure out, have a budget, 60% is your fixed expenses, 20% fund money, 20% sock away, and then get as much disability as the company will let you have. I think the legal limit is 90% after net income. You can get protected. So protecting your income is number one. Because I don't care how it falls apart. That holds a financial plan together. And then buying as much term insurance as the company will let you have, because you can use it in other ways besides just protection. And you're never as insurable as you are when you're 22 years old. Because I've seen people, I'll get life insurance when I have a kid or whatever, and then a glitch happens, right? A melanoma glitch. So get it when you're young, and get the most they'll let you have. Obviously, if you're making $50,000 a year, you can't get a $10 million policy, but get as much as you can, because your income will likely go up over time. So if you become uninsurable, so just get all your insurances in place, for everything with a pulse, not like your cars and stuff. But
right.
Yeah, you want to insure yourself, because you are your biggest asset when you're 22. So insure yourself, your income, and that's the main thing for sure. But I wish I would have done that. If I had disability insurance, it would have been much easier. I would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
in better shape. Could have saved my business, maybe, but maybe I didn't want to save my business. Who knows, right? Because I wouldn't be where I am now. So
you mentioned your big why a while ago. You said your biggest why is.
Yeah.
I want to dig a little bit deeper with that. So why do you do what you do? When the alarm goes off, or when you naturally wake up, I don't know how you get out of bed, but when you put your feet on the floor, what gets you to put your feet on the floor and get after the day and find those clients who are going to fund your why?
Right, yeah.
What is your why?
My why is educating people, but I think even more than that, I remember going from Little Jim in my first day at helping seniors. I was in Lufkin, Texas. I was driving. I was like, I'm like, what else am I gonna do? This is fun. But otherwise, I'm just doing nothing. This is fun. Mm-hmm. So my why is just like, I think it's just learning and keeping busy, because I feel like, what else am I gonna do? I don't know. I was like, I enjoy it, and there's always stuff you don't enjoy, but I don't know. It's probably super generic, but I'm like, what am I gonna do? Nothing. This is what I enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
And it's being very, I think, just very consistent, I guess. Just some people you come across are like, they haven't found their why, I guess, and that's why they're probably considered lazy. I don't know. So I feel like every bad job I've had, or not bad job, just job that I didn't know I wanted to do, but I always found something positive about it, and I tried it out. But I think I think that's whatever I'm doing, I'm very happy what I'm doing, and I'm like, what else am I gonna do? This is fun. I find some ways for it to be fun, and I can learn from. So I think learning myself, but also spreading that knowledge is super important. It's my why.
Yeah.
If it's kind of encapsulated in that weird answer I just gave, it's in there somewhere.
It's
I
in
promise.
there.
Okay.
It's in there.
Yeah.
We'll go back and listen or review it again
Right.
and try to find that. Yep.
Yeah.
What's your proudest accomplishment?
Oh, probably my kids. Because when Beck happened,
That's what every dad says.
I know, my kids and my
It's
wife.
good.
I know, but it's like,
Yeah.
when we had Beck, we thought we were not going to be able to have kids, because we thought we had a genetic thing, and so we're super grateful that we had three. To think that at the time we were going to have three kids that they had a chance of being balanced, normal, whatever. They're all normal, so they're not going to have trouble. So the gene didn't pass, basically. So just I'm like, wow, I can't believe we had three when we thought, we thought we were going to have to adopt and everything, and to have three of our own is, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just super proud of that, because, and what my wife went through to have this kid, I'm like, wow, we're so lucky to be men.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So as we wrap up here, I want to ask you a question before we get into the last part of the show. Is there a question that you hoped that I would have asked you that I didn't?
Matt, you're such a good interviewer that I cannot think of anything.
Well, thank you.
I don't know. If you wanted to dive into my sixth grade something, I don't know. I've probably nothing there. So no, you did a great
Wait,
job.
let's talk about that. What happened to sixth
No,
grade?
I'm just kidding. I just threw a grade out. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe something happened there.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Because I think that scars have a story behind them, an interesting story to tell, right? I've got a scar above my eye, and I can tell that story later or whatever. However, I see a scar.
Yeah.
What is that scar from? What's the story behind that scar?
Story of that is when in 2015, I just had a little thing here, just like a little red mark. I'm like, huh. And then I scratched it and it started bleeding, and it never healed. So it was basically a basal cell carcinoma, So I did what's called the Mohs procedure. Okay. So basically they take a dime shape, they take it, and then they take it to the lab and they see where if it's still on the edge, then they cut in that direction. And then I went back 3 times, and it ended up being like a silver dollar. Oh, wow. I looked like Terminator 2, just a big hole in my face. And they thought they were going to have to take skin from here, because typically this happens to an older person, you know. And I think it's because I had some acne as a kid, and I took these medicines, and I played golf. I was in the sun all the time, and I looked like I was really dark, and I probably didn't wear enough sunscreen, but that's where I'm thinking it happened. But I went to sleep. I had this hole in my face for a day, and then I went to the plastic surgeon the next day, and I went to, like, they put me out thinking I was going to have to take skin from here, so it'd be a little discolored. But then I woke up, he's like, I did it, I was able to. He's like, usually when you're older, you have more skin to do that, but since you're young, he's like, since you're so young, I didn't know if I'd have enough skin to do that. But he did, he got it connected, and it did that in around my ear. But he wanted me to go back to do a little better job. I was like, nah, it's kind of cool, you know.
It's a battle scar.
I can do this. I was in a bar fight or something cool, but now it's carcinoma. But yeah. So anyway.
So see, that's something else that you've been through. Wow.
I think the bar fight's much more interesting
than
carcinoma on the skin. But it wasn't the bad stuff like melanoma or whatever. But it was crazy that when you keep going back, you're like, oh my God, there's a huge hole in my skin. You know, you can see my.
And there was just a tiny red dot to begin with, right?
Yeah. So get your skin checked. Yeah.
There's the PSA for today, ladies.
That's right. Get your skin checked.
Get your skin checked.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up the show, we discussed beforehand, I'm the Chief Happiness Officer of a nonprofit. It's called Who Do You Know? And we focus on inspiring imagination and dreaming again in people in any walk of life through making connections. And so we ask people to identify their dreams or wishes within 3 different pillars. So a living person that you would like to meet, a place you would like to go, or an experience you would like to have. So we're going to go through each one of those real quick, because what may happen here for us is somebody who's listening or tuning in today, right? May know of someone or may know of a way to make one of these dreams of yours come true. So these are your dreams, not somebody else's. These are yours. So we're going to start with the person.
I like
ownership.
Okay.
So who is a living person that you would like to meet?
I think on the music front, my favorite songwriter is Jeff Tweedy.
Okay.
Are you familiar with him?
Nope.
Okay. You've heard of the band Wilco?
Nope.
Okay. Well, he's one. My music taste is a little underground, I guess. Okay. So yeah, Jeff Tweedy. Love to meet him.
Jeff Tweedy.
Okay.
Yeah. A place you would like to go?
What was the third one?
An experience you would like to have.
Okay. So a place I'd like to go. Well, one of my things on my bucket list is to see the world before you die. You gotta see the world. So if I had to pick one place to go that I haven't been yet, right? Okay.
Sure.
Gosh. Oh my God, there's so many places to go, man.
What is at the top of that list?
Top of the list right now, I've heard, New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to go Iceland, but let's go with New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So New Zealand, and then an experience you'd like to have.
One thing on my bucket list is to act in a play, like acting. I never have done that except for college in a class. So like acting in a play I enjoyed that whole class, and I haven't done it since. But I want to act in some kind of acting form, whether it's like acting
like at a local theater or
theater,
something
whatever.
Like that? Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I enjoy that experience, but I did the band route instead. I never actually dove into it, and I have some high school friends that are actually doing that still. It's crazy, but But I'd like to do that before I die. Act in something, in a play or something where you have to actually prepare and perform, and that'd be fun. Yeah.
So it's interesting, you've said this a couple of times of a bucket list being things that you want to do before you die, and that's typically the definition of a bucket list, right?
Yeah.
I like to look at it from a different perspective. These are things that you do while you're living.
Right. Yeah.
So I want to live life to the fullest while I'm here, right? So those things on a bucket list or on my dream list are those things I want to do while I'm living. So not necessarily before I die.
Right.
So there you go.
That's a better.
It's just a
spin,
maybe
for sure.
positive spin on it all.
Right.
But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'll just say that I don't know if this is true or not, but my youngest brother, I'm sure it's true, AJ, because you told me it was true. But he is in the Maldives right now on his honeymoon.
Oh, I should have said that.
And what he told me, he was like, if you want to visit the Maldives, you need to do it in the next 4 to 5 years because they're predicting that it's going to be underwater.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So for those of you watching, to you as well, if you want to go to the Maldives, from what I understand, it may need to be done within the next few years in order to have that experience while they're there.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
It's a good place to go too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Forrest, thank you for being here. It is a
Enjoyed
pleasure speaking with you again and getting to dig a little deeper and find out more about you and to share your story, which I'm sure people out there have found inspiring, and you're a fascinating person to me. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Sure thing. Everyone, thank you so much for being here today and joining us on the Matt Hilton Show. Stay tuned next week as we have another fascinating person with an inspiring story. Y'all have a great day.
If you'd like to contact Matt or know a fascinating person with an inspiring story that would make a great guest, reach out to the show at themattHiltonshow@gmail.com.